Hi, everybody. I'm Debbie Belaus with Feel Good Qigong, and welcome to spring. We're going to get started. We're coming into this new season of spring, although it doesn't quite feel that way. We're in this between stage of winter and spring, really, where we're coming out of that hibernation, months of uh, dark days, and you can start feeling this shift into spring. It's getting maybe a little bit warmer. For sure, the light is changing because the day's a little bit longer as well. So we're coming out from this hibernation into this more active season. And we want to prepare for the spring, just like we did prepare for the winter months, where it was about going within a little bit more. It was a great time to learn practices like meditation, trying to keep the body heated and warm for the colder weather. So the spring is telling us that we want to start feeling this emerging, coming out of the earth, like you see with plants that are starting to pop up. And so a lot of it's going to be about stretching. So the protocol, the physical protocol, is all about that lengthening the body out to prepare for that outward season of spring. Since the energy is more outward, the days will be longer. We're going to be more active. And you don't want to start spring feeling stiff and tight, because that's how we can injure ourselves, especially if you're getting more active in this season. You want to be ready for it. So we're just going to do some stretching, some very gentle stretching. And what I love to use is a strap. It's a yoga strap, or you can use a belt, you can use a tie, you can use a long scarf, anything where you can, lengthen your arms with. And a chair, have a chair nearby as well. So I always tell people a lot of these practices, they could be a standalone practice, or these can be practices that you can add to your other routines that you do during the day. So in other words, if you're a walker and you're just not stretching enough, this would be a great add-on for your kind of exercises that you do. If you bike a lot and you don't stretch enough, this is the time to really start adding these stretches. So simple stuff. We're just going to start with taking, well, before we do that, let's do a couple little stretches standing. So a lot of Qigong is done standing. You can also do this sitting. You can also do this lying down, these different movements as well. But for this particular practice I'm going to show you today is for standing mostly. So we're just simply going to lift your arms up and really feel that stretch through your fingers. And then come up onto your toes as well and get a really nice stretch here for the whole body. So you're rooting down through the feet and you're lengthening up through the sky, through the fingers, feeling the whole body stretch, not just the fingers, not just the toes, not just the ankles, but everything is being stretched, the tendons, the ligaments, your fascia, and then release back onto the heels and bring the arms down. So this is really simple to do. Inhaling up. If you want to come up a little bit higher, come up onto those toes. You're rooting down through the earth, you're lengthening up through the sky and feeling the stretch through the fingers, through the wrists, through the elbows, through the joints, through the shoulders, through the side, the rib cage. You can even, if you want to go from side to side a little bit and get a little bit more stretching here, and then release and bring the heels back up. Okay, one more time, up you go. Now, this is something nice to do as soon as you get up in the morning. Just give yourself a big stretch and then release back down to the heels. One more time, stretch, 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 and then release the heels onto the floor. Now let's take our strap. So take your strap, and I always tell people, leave your strap out. It'll remind you to do these little splits of stretching. And have the strap as, you want to feel it taut. You want to pull the strap away, each side away from you. And then see if you can lift it up over the head comfortably, and can you get it behind you as well? So you want to be able to get a full movement here. If you can't, then modify it for yourself. What I don't want you to do is, if it's too short, then you're going to get this kind of movement too. I mean, and you can do it this way if you don't have the flexibility in your shoulder. So you can also do this way. But if you can get the full flexibility, then stretch it as far as you can, so you don't have to bend those elbows and you're just moving it forward and back over the head. Again, do what's comfortable for you. Anything's going to be good. And then it'll also show you where the decline is, from the winter, from maybe not stretching enough. You might realize, oh my God, my body is so tight. So when you recognize that, then we know what we need to do, what we need to add to our routine. Now we're just going to lean over to one side. So now you're getting a really nice side stretch here, back to center, over to the other side. It's feeling the rib cage moving, stretching, coming to the other side, feeling some space between your hips and your rib cage, through the shoulder, again, through all the major joints, and then back to the other side. Now, another thing that's really nice to do, you're going to do a full rotation here. So I talk about rotating the body to warm up the body. So this is a good way to start, maybe is with the rotation before you go to some of the other stretches. But this just feels so good just to do a big rotation of the whole body, really. I can feel that. I even hear cracking in my ankles, and cracking's never a bad thing. It's just you're moving some of the gases around. Pain is not a good indication. If something is painful or very, very achy, then you back off the movement. Those are indications that you might be doing too much. The body's just not ready. And remember, when you go from one side, go to the other. And then we'll end up overhead. Now you're going to bring one arm down and one arm up. Another really nice stretch. You could feel that in the shoulder again, in the armpit, back to center, over to the other side, and then back to neutral. I'm going to show you a back version of this. One is up and one is down. And then see if you can reach your fingers to touch. If not, then you can use the strap right there for you. And again, this is a really nice stretch for the arms. For the shoulders, you might want to move the head to the opposite direction, feeling a nice stretch there in the neck. And then release. We'll go to the other side, one up, one down, and then see if you can connect your fingers. So for me, this side's a lot more limber than my other side, and that's because I fell not too long ago, and I injured my right arm, so it's a little bit difficult for me to reach. So I know that's my decline on my other side. And then release, and then taking the strap, bring it a little bit closer to your hands, soften the knees. Before you do that, let's just move the arms back and really squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then bend the knees. And then if you want, coming all the way forward. Again, only if that feels comfortable. Do what you can, and then notice, recognize where the tightness is in your body. And that could be an area that you want to come back to a little bit more during the day. Now we're going to do the legs. I like to do it with a chair. You can also do this at a counter. So I have a counter here as well, which maybe I'll use the counter so you can see. This is nice to do in your kitchen. If you're in your kitchen, maybe keep that strap in your kitchen, and then take your counter, bring your hands on your counter, taking 1 foot forward. So I have my right foot forward here. Your left leg is back. You're looking forward. The hips are centered. You want to make sure that your heel is right underneath your knee, and you want to be able to see your toes as well. Now we're simply going to move the hips back. As you release that left heel towards the floor, you'll feel a really nice stretch in the calf muscle. And keeping that foot, the front foot flat on the floor, feeling that stretch in the shin and in the ankle. And then bend that knee again. And then this time, come on your heel, the front heel, as you release that back heel towards the floor or on the floor. And now you're getting a deeper stretch in that calf muscle and in the hamstring of the right leg. And you just go back and forth at your own pace, feeling this wonderful stretch of the legs. Now, taking that right leg back, you have a downward facing dog here. Engage your abdominals. Think of your belly moving to the back of the spine. And just see if you can touch your ears to the side of your arms. That's a good position for the head. You don't want to let the head drag down too far. Might be too much of a stretch. And feeling that stretch through the backs of the shoulders, to the fingers, to the back of the shoulders. You'll feel this also in the back of the legs. So it's a really nice stretch to do for the whole back body. Now from here, keeping the hands sturdy on your counter or chair, you're going to start to bring the hips forward, and then you arch the back into a nice back bend here. So again, you've got these two movements all at the same time in this one area, just hanging out in your kitchen and getting some nice stretches here. Now we're going to do the other side. I'm taking my left foot forward this time, coming into the standing warrior, standing lunge, making sure again that that left heel is directly under your knee. So That protects your knee also. If you have bad knees, that's going to protect it. Now we're going to start to move the hips back as that right heel starts to come towards the floor or on the floor, keeping that left foot completely flat, because you want to feel a nice stretch in the shin and in that ankle, which is usually an area we don't get to. So it's a great place to get that nice stretch in. And then come back into that high lunge again. Coming back once again, this time coming on your heel of the left foot. So you get that stretch more in the hamstring of that leg. And again, you can just go at your own pace, getting these nice stretches in the legs, in both of them. And taking that left foot back into your downward facing dog. It's a high downward facing dog, but it's a great stretch for the entire back body, especially for the shoulders. I feel there's a lot in my shoulders and my arms. Now from here, keeping the feet flat on the floor, having your hands firmly on the counter or your chair, you're going to start to move the hips forward as you arch your back, and you'll feel that stretch. Relax those shoulders away from your ears, and you'll get a really nice stretch here in a back bend. So you're just kind of going forward and back, and then slowly step forward. Now, something we're going to do a full body stretch. This is nice to have a chair, and I'll show you in different ways to do this. And you might not need the chair, but I always like to recommend having the chair in front of you. You want to come to a nice standing position, activating the legs, engaging your abdominals. And we're going to take a big circle here, going to cross the arms over, and you lean back just a little bit. This feels really nice for the back body and for the front body. And then as you come forward, you're going to cross again. We're scrubbing liver 14, which I'll explain further in another video. This is our liver meridian, because that's the meridian, and this is the organ we're using. We're focusing on this season is liver and gallbladder. Now we're going to take and slide your hands down. We're following the gallbladder meridian. Again, you don't need to know about that yet. We'll come to that as we practice more for the spring. Bringing your hands to your feet, if that's comfortable, or this is where the chair might come in. You just drop the head and the neck forward. If you get dizzy, don't let your head go past your hips. If your low back hurts, two things you really need to be careful of. You don't want to exasperate a sore back. Forward folds can do that. So we want to lift the belly towards the back of the spine. That'll engage your abdominals, which will help support your low back. And this might be it for you today, but if you want to go further, then you can soften the knees and slowly work your way down a little bit further. Maybe you can release your elbows and your forearms on the chair and just hang here. Or maybe you're feeling pretty flexible, and then you can maybe release the hands to the floor. Now we're slowly going to curl up. This time, keeping those knees soft, tucking the tailbone under, tucking your chin into your chest as you slowly come up one vertebrae at a time as you come back up to standing. We'll do this one more time. This is called gathering the sun. We'll do a couple of these. Gathering the sun, crossing over, which is good for your brain. We're going to cross and scrub liver 14. We're going to take our hands to our low back. Engage those abdominals. Remember, you're trying to support your back when you're coming into these forward bends. Sliding the hands down your gallbladder meridian, down to your fourth toe, or again, using the chair for support, whatever works for you. As long as you're getting some sort of stretch here for the entire back body. And again, notice where's the decline. Are you really, really, really tight? Typically, low back pain is due to tight hamstrings. So we want to keep that full, and then slowly sliding the hands on the inside of the legs, which is actually your liver meridian. We're going to take it to liver 14 again and scrub. Let's do this one more time, again with caution. And use these movements again to cue you in of how you're coming out of this hibernation. Are you really tight? We're going to take our time with these beautiful stretches as we start to slowly move into the spring season. Scrubbing liver 14, sliding the hands down, gallbladder meridian, and engage your abdominals as you bring the hands down to the earth or to the chair, to your knees, to your shins, wherever it's most comfortable, feeling this wonderful stretch of the whole entire back body, from the toes to the fingers, And then sliding the hands up the inside of the liver meridian, inside of the legs, following that meridian to liver 14. Give it a nice scrub again, activating that liver, and then return back to center. And just noticing how your body's feeling. So easy stuff to do. Try to do it, at least once or twice a day, and see how, and start to feel that more limber feeling in the body. It's like, remember, you're emerging from the earth. We're just kind of popping our head out and getting ready for the warmer months that everybody just loves. So thank you for joining me. If you like my video, subscribe to my channel. I try to get something out at least once a week as we go along and follow the seasons together. Thanks so much. Have a great day, everybody.